Hello students, welcome to biology class. Today we are moving to our fourth chapter, that is keeping the diseases away. Chapter name is keeping the diseases away. In this chapter mainly you have to study about diseases. Mainly you have to study about diseases, then microorganisms, then classification of diseases, classification of diseases, then we have to study about different types of pathogens. In addition to this, we have to study about genetic diseases and lifestyle diseases. So first let us discuss what is a disease. A disease means an unhealthy condition. Disease means an unhealthy condition or an abnormal condition which causes damage to our body or to destroy proper functioning of our body. Abnormal condition that negatively affects our body functions and its performance. I think you may be familiar with different types of newspaper report which explains about different types of pathogens and different types of transmission of diseases and shortage of pure water, then discovery of new viruses. All these things you may be familiar with it. Here first we are going to discuss about microorganism. So what are microorganisms? These are primitive organism or small organism. So we can't see them with our naked eye. We have to use special microscope, compound microscope or electron microscope. Using that only we can observe a particular microorganism, because they are very too smaller in size. Hence they are known as micro. Micro means what? Too small. Okay. So what are microorganisms? These are primitive organism or too small organism. Some microorganisms are useful to us. Some are known as pathogens. Or disease causing agent. Okay, so that is about a microorganism. These are very helpful to us. In addition to this, it causes damage to our cells or it causes disturbances to different organisms. So microorganism and diseases first we are going to discuss. So we already discussed about pathogen. Pathogens are known as a microorganism or the organism which causes disease. Are known as pathogens. So let us list what are the different types of pathogens. You can list. Let us prepare a list of pathogen. First one bacteria. Then virus is there. Then protozoans. Then different types of worms are there. Okay. Then in addition to this, there are some organisms known as fungi or fungus. So these are known as pathogens. So how many types of pathogens are there? There are different types of pathogen: bacteria, virus, protozoans, worms, fungi, etc. These are. Now, how a disease transmit? That is mode of transmission of diseases. That is also included in your syllabus, how a disease spread from one person to another person. So there are different methods or different ways of transmission. So first we can write by contact. By contact, a disease spread. How by contact spread? If you touch an infected person's dress, or if you give shake hand to an infected person, or if you touch any object which is used by an infected person, there may be chances of infection. Sometimes the disease will come in your body. The disease causing agents can enter in your body. There are other methods by using food and other products. Contaminated food and water. Contaminated food and water. If you consume contaminated food and water, there may be chances of infection. Usually we tell that we have to use food item which is stored in a closed vessels, and pure water you have to drink. There may be suggestions like that. So if you use contaminated food and water, there may be chances of infection. In addition to this, there are other ways, that is coughing and sneezing. Coughing, sneezing. If an infected person cough near to you, or if he sneeze, so the particles or microorganism will enter the air, and if you inhale that air, or any droplets or any other products comes near to you, there may be chances of infection. Sterilized equipments. By using unsterilized equipment. Unsterilized equipments. Unsterilized equipments. If you use unsterilized equipments, you may be knowing that if you visit any laboratory or diagnosis center, they will be using needle and different types of object in order to test our body fluids or any other items. Okay, so if they are using syringe and needle etc., without sterilization, there may be chances of infection. So that is fourth one. There are some organisms known as vectors. There are some organisms known as vectors. What are vectors? These are organisms which spread disease from one person to another. So they are known as vectors. For example, you can tell mosquitoes, then houseflies are there. These are known as vectors. Okay, these act as vectors of different diseases or different pathogens. They spread an infected disease from an infected person to a healthy person. So such type of insect pests they are commonly known as vectors. So fifth one we can write vectors. Then in addition to this, if you share cloth, that is cloth of infected person, anything or any shirt or pant or any other material or any other products or towel or whatever it may be, if you use such items, cloth materials used by an infected person or diseased person, there may be chances of infection. So there are around 6 ways of transmission of diseases. What are they? By contact, then second one food and water, then third one coughing, sneezing, etc. Then fourth one using unsterilized equipment. Then we can tell use of vectors. Then sixth one use of cloth or sharing cloth may leads to different types of disease. Different types of disease. So what we discussed here, what is disease? Diseases are nothing but it is an unhealthy condition or abnormality. It is an unhealthy condition or abnormality. It leads to what? It leads to block of our body functioning or proper functioning of our body. Now next we are going to discuss about different types of diseases. So we can classify diseases as bacterial disease, then second one viral diseases, then disease caused by protozoans, then diseases caused by fungus. In addition to this, there are some other diseases also. That is lifestyle disease. Then genetic diseases are there. Then there are some communicable diseases are also there. What is lifestyle disease? It is nothing but the disease caused by our food habits and our lifestyle. Then there are some genetic disease. Is it associated with heredity and other different factors or genes or genetic factors? Such diseases are known as genetic diseases. Then our topic is communicable disease. So what is communicable disease? The disease which is spread from one person to another person. Such diseases are known as a communicable disease. It is caused by microorganisms which is spread from one person to another. It is rapidly or fastly it is spread from one person to another person. So there may be, you may be familiar with such a newspaper report and or spreading of communicable diseases during rainy season. We are going to discuss about rat fever. It is also known as leptospirosis. So here our first disease is leptospirosis. It is also known as rat fever. It is caused by a bacteria. Known as Leptospira bacteria. So it is a pathogen. Pathogen name is Leptospira. It is a bacteria. It is a prokaryote. Prokaryote means what? Microorganism without proper nucleus. They are known as prokaryotes. So this disease is caused by a bacteria, Leptospira. It is a prokaryote. It enters the body of human being or cell. It multiply by binary fission, a process known as binary fission, and it increases its number inside the human body. So it is a prokaryote, Leptospira bacteria. The name of pathogen is Leptospira. Then in addition to this, there are some other points included here. So while discussing about a disease, we have to mention the type of pathogen, then symptom, then mode of transmission, and prevention and control of diseases. That also we have to discuss here. So it is caused by Leptospira bacteria. It multiply by binary fission, and it when it enters the body of human being, what happens? It destroys cells and causes damage to our body, or cells are destroyed by Leptospira bacteria. It produces certain chemical substances. These chemical substances or poisonous substances are generally known as toxins. So bacteria, Leptospira bacteria will produce certain chemical substances or poisonous substances. They are known as toxins. Actually, these toxins causes the disease in human being. How it is spread? That is leptospirosis or our rat fever. How it is spread to human being? This bacteria is usually present in the urine of rat and infected dog and other animals. Okay, the urine of rat or infected animal may contain this bacteria. Okay, when these animals urinate, what happens? Along with that urine, these pathogens are also released into soil. This bacteria can survive in moist and water regions. Okay, so it can survive in moist region as well as in water. So they can survive in stagnant water also. Okay, So there may be stagnant water in your surroundings. You may be familiar with stagnant water. But this bacteria need a wound. Okay, this bacteria need a wound in order to enter human body. Suppose a person with a wound in his leg or hand, suppose if you touch or if you come contact with stagnant water or urine or any other products of rat and infected animal, there may be chances of infection. So this bacteria will enter to our body through wound. Bacteria causes damage to blood capillaries. Then we can write some symptoms, that is due to breakage or a block of blood capillaries, what happens? There may be internal bleeding will be there. Internal bleeding is one of the symptom. Internal bleeding will be there. Then in addition to this, the infected person or diseased person show headache will be there. Then high level of fever, high fever will be there. High fever, muscle pain will be there. Muscle pain also will be there. Muscle pain will be there. Then redness in eye, that also we can mention here. Redness in eye, redness in eye. So these are the symptoms of leptospirosis or rat fever. What are the symptoms? Internal bleeding will be there. Then there will be headache. Then high fever will be there. Then in addition to this, there will be muscle pain and redness in eye. If you diagnose or detect that disease in earlier condition itself, we can treat it well, so that individual will get relief very fast, or early diagnosis can lead to proper treatment and other methods. The individual will get cure from the disease very easily. Now let us discuss what are the prevention methods of rat fever. So what are the different prevention methods? What we have to do? We have to destroy a rat, that we can write there. Then any other method, if you come contact with rat urine or any scratch items by rat, what happens? You have to clean your hands and surroundings with the antiseptic liquid like Dettol and all. You can use floor cleaner. So you must avoid contact with the rat food or any other materials or any scratched items which is used by rat. You cannot touch it with the physical contact with such infected materials. We must avoid. Okay, so that is one method. Then we can clean. Okay, proper cleanliness. Ensure proper cleanliness in your surroundings. You have to clean your surroundings, remove all the waste materials. That is, proper disposal of wastes is very important. Then you can reduce chances of spread of rat, or what happens, the spreading of rat. Okay, number of rats can be reduced by ensuring cleaning. Okay, cleaned environment reduces rat. Okay, if you have any wound, do not enter any stagnant water. Do not use any waste water or any other items. So you have to use only pure water or drink boiled water. In such a way we can prevent leptospirosis or rat fever. Our second bacterial disease is diphtheria. It is caused by the pathogen Corynebacterium diphtheriae. Corynebacterium diphtheria. The pathogen name is Corynebacterium diphtheriae. Usually diphtheria occurs, it infects our throat region. Okay, this pathogen mainly affect our throat region or pharynx region will be affected by this pathogen. Pathogen is a bacteria. What is it? Corynebacterium diphtheria. Then spread. How it is spread? It's spread by coughing. It is spread by coughing. Then sneezing. Coughing, sneeze. Spread directly from infected person to healthy person. That is, it is spread directly from infected person to healthy person. Okay, how it is spread? Coughing. Okay, an infected person cough near to you, or if he sneeze in an open environment, the particles, okay, air droplet may contain bacteria or particles of bacteria will be there. If you inhale such droplets or air, what will happen? This bacteria will enter into your body, or it may causes infection or the disease. Chances of occurrence of diseases are more. It affect mucous membrane of our throat. Okay, mucous membrane of our throat. Usually our digestive system may contain, or our throat region may contain mucous membrane. There is a coat of mucus lining will be there. Okay, so bacteria produces some toxins. These toxins will remove our mucous membrane. Okay, as a result, what happens? An ash-like substance, okay, light yellow color or ash-like substance will enter. Okay, there may be formation of ash-like substance in our throat region. Okay, we can use by looking a mirror, we can see that there is a ash-like substance or light yellow colored substance will be formed inside our throat. The toxins causes some symptoms such as fever. There will be fever will be there. Then throat pain will be there. Throat pain will be there. Then in addition to this, there are some other symptoms, that is swollen lymph glands. The lymph nodes they will enlarge. Okay, due to the toxin or action of toxins, what happens? There will be fever. Then throat pain will be there. Then what happens? Our lymph glands at the throat region, they will enlarge. So these are symptoms of diphtheria. Now how to treat it? So we can use antitoxins or antibiotics can be used. Then there are some vaccines available. You can use vaccines in order to reduce the disease, in order to treat the disease, or the symptoms can be reduced by using vaccine. Usually we have to use DPT vaccine. So this is about our second disease, communicable disease, that is bacterial disease mainly we are discussing here. Second one, diphtheria. Then one more bacterial disease we have to discuss. What is it? It is called tuberculosis. It is called tuberculosis. Tuberculosis we have to discuss about the name of pathogen, symptom, and what are the treatment method. That also we have to discuss now. Listen here. Our third bacterial disease, it is called tuberculosis. The pathogen name is Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Mycobacterium tuberculosis. It is a bacteria. It mainly affect our lungs. Okay, mainly affect our lungs or respiratory system. The symptoms include loss of body weight. Loss of body weight will be there. Then person will show fatigue symptoms. Then there will be persistent cough. Okay, there will be loss of body weight will be there. Body weight. Then we can write fever will be there. Then in addition to this, there will be cough. Okay, persistent cough will be there. So these are the general symptoms of tuberculosis. It is caused by a bacterium, Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Suppose an infected person sneeze or cough near to you, what happens? The bacteria or the pathogen will move from one infected person to an healthy person. That if you inhale the droplet or any other products, respiratory product from infected person, there may be chances of infection. The mainly affected part is our lungs. Then what are the treatment methods? What we have to use? We can use vaccines. So there are some vaccines. Then antitoxins are also available. Mainly we are using Bacillus calmette guerin vaccine. That is, BCG vaccine is generally used for treatment of tuberculosis. Okay, so this is about our bacterial disease. Mainly we have discussed around 3 types of bacterial disease. What are the? Rat fever, then diphtheria, third one tuberculosis. Then we already discussed about transmission of diseases, the name of pathogen, different types of diseases, that is classification of disease based on the pathogens. Okay, so this is about today's topic.